There once was a boy named Marcus in ancient Sparta. Marcus spent most of his time playing video games, scrolling on social media, and binge watching his favorite TV show. One day Marcus came across a book. "What is this strange object?" he said. Once he started reading, he realized that the book wielded an enormous power, far greater than himself. We Spartans realize that reading is the single best activity we can spend our day on. We know that reading is crucial to increasing our mental capacity and developing a strong character, which is just as important as our physical strength. I started reading about 1.5 years ago, and before that I wasn't reading. The only thing I read was these school books which I had to read. And these school books taught me that reading was stupid because all the topics I read in these school books were basically mandatory to read and very boring. So from a young age I was taught that reading was really boring. But since I started reading 1.5 years ago, I've read 15 books on topics which actually interest me. Like I read a few books about business, finance, and about the world, how the world really works. And these books have actually changed my whole world, my whole perception of the world, my whole perception of business, finance and stuff like this. From our school system we have been taught that 2,000 euro is a lot, right? Well, it's actually not. Once you start to realize these things and you realize how the world really works, you start to make other choices, far better ones. You start to see the world how it really is, instead of so now I just read 2 hours a day because I realize that reading is the single best activity I can do. I spend 1 hour of reading in the morning and 1 hour of reading before I go to bed. So why should you start reading? Reading can free your mind from all these propagated beliefs which has been put into our minds by our school systems and advertisement and stuff. The schools have taught us that the world works like this. 2,000 euro is a lot of money. You should just be happy with your normal job. And the same like advertisement, right? They have taught us how we should eat, that processed foods are really good for us, that oh look, there's a new Big Mac, we should get it right away. And books can help us free our mind from these stupid beliefs. They can teach us how we really should eat, how we really should live our life, how we can really start our own business and don't think like an employee. Don't be stuck in a rat race basically. So reading can change your mind and in the process change your life. It can change your life goals. It can make you see the reality as it really is. Reading is not just an activity which you can choose to do. It is a must if you want to live a successful life. There is a huge difference between a person who does read and a person who doesn't read. I've got a few friends who don't read, and you can really see the difference in mental capacity and stuff. My 3 best friends are the ones who actually read, and I can actually have good, deep conversations about life with them. The ones who don't read, they are basically just drinking buddies, and I can't really have a deep, meaningful conversation with them. So the ones who do read have a far greater mental capacity and are often more smart because they read about the things that can help them further. And in the end, they are basically guaranteed to be more successful in the long run. And if you look in general, people who read are on average more successful in the long run. If you look at these billionaires who have achieved great things in life, they have basically read hundreds of books. If you don't start reading, you will stay in mediocrity and you will get dominated by the persons who do read. Look at it like this. In 10 years time, you have read 0 books. And in the process there is another guy who in this same 10 years has read hundreds of books. Who do you think is actually smarter? Who do you think has more knowledge, is better capable of using his mind, his intellect? Of course, the guy who reads. And who do you think has gained more success in life? The one who doesn't read for 10 years or the one who has read hundreds of books? Reading is the single best activity you can do as a young man or woman. If you start reading now, while you're young, you can achieve so many things. And reading can be the single best road you can take to riches. It is the road to riches. If you look at the persons who are really wealthy, the one thing they all started doing when they gained wealth was reading. So how can you actually start reading? So the best thing you can do is not just read fiction books, because fiction books are fun, but you can just as well watch some Netflix movie then, because it's basically pure entertainment. What you should do is actually read books which can help you. Let's say you're interested in finances. Then you find a book which is all about finances. If you're interested in business, find some business books. If you're interested in losing weight, find some books about the best way to lose weight. You find books which can actually help you in life at a moment where you need this help. And especially in the beginning, it can be a bit boring, right? It's much more boring than watching a movie, especially in the beginning. I do really appreciate it now, but in the beginning I was like, I'd rather be watching a movie and stuff like this. What you can do is make reading fun. Sit down on your best bench, maybe in your bed, get yourself a cup of tea, light a candle, get yourself a nice blanket, make it the best activity of the day. I really enjoy reading because it makes me really comfortable. I make it really nice. So how can you find these great books where you're looking for? Well, let's say you wanted to start reading books about business. Just write on Google the best business books to read in 2023 and you will basically get the top 5 books. These are often the best books you can read. You don't have to look for some crusty old mysterious book in the library. So there are a few books who have actually changed my life. The first one is The Millionaire's Fast Lane by M.J. DeMarco. The second one is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And the third one is Rich Dad Poor Dad from Robert Kiyosaki. So remember, Spartans, just as Marcus needed to make the best use of his time to become a true Spartan, we must prioritize reading and learning over instant gratification activities. Stop wasting time and start reading books. This way we will improve our mental and intellectual capacity. Spartans, prepare for glory.